Alright, y'all. Asking you shall receive. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Av, and welcome to the block. And we got some new content coming to the channel today. We got Kagurabachi, the famous manga that started a while back that everybody was blowing over. Everybody was going crazy, you feel me? So I did a poll on my community page a little while back, and I asked y'all what y'all wanted me to add to the channel. You feel me? I had Kagurabachi, I had Dandadan, and my personal favorite. Bro, it's not that funny. You definitely dragged me. Ain't nobody fucking with Mama Yu like that, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to do something separate for that one right there. But Kagurabachi ended up winning the poll by a good amount, you feel me? Dandadan wasn't too far back there, so I might add Dandadan too, but Kagurabachi won with 47%. So we added Kagurabachi to the channel, and I asked y'all if y'all wanted me to do a full review of the past 13 chapters, or did y'all want me to start with the newest chapter? And y'all said y'all want me to start with the new one, so I'm like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do that for y'all. So in this video, we starting off this Kagurabachi content with chapter 14, Kagurabachi chapter 14, which is Beyond the Path of the Sword. We got this clean ass manga cover right here, this chapter cover with Chihiro and Soujou looking eye to eye. I mean, not really eye to eye, because, you know, Chihiro, he a short-ass little dude, but, you know, they kind of eye to eye. They at least sword to sword down here, you feel me? So it's a nice little cover page. I'm not going to lie to y'all. The mangaka, the author, he definitely has some really nice artwork. I've been fucking with his art since I started reading this series, and I think he's only getting better over time. I think he definitely knows what he's doing and knows how to use panels right, use these situations with Chihiro in the right way. I feel like he definitely knows what he's doing. So congrats, you know, shouts out to the author, you feel me? And yeah, keep doing a good job with your manga, man. You're doing a good job. But the manga chapter starts off with the last one left off with Soujou and Chihiro, you know, side by side doing the little parallels. And we basically find out that these swords basically get stronger based on the wielder. So we know that Kagurabachi, the series, runs off of spirit energy. So one spirit really is reminiscent within these enchanted blades, and depending on the person, it'll have an increased strength depending on the person's will, how strong the will is, and what they believe in, and that'll manifest through the enchanted blades. And we learned that a little further. But then we see on the outskirts of where they at right now, we got Shiba checking out this shed over here, because he remembers that he told Chihiro, whenever Chihiro went to interrogate that one guard that's where they at right now to find where Char's at, he told Chihiro that he needs to have Char rescued at the top of his priority list right now, because his body just frankly isn't strong enough to do anything. He told us in the last chapter that his arm was fucked up and that he wasn't able to really fight in the condition that he was in. So Shiba makes sure to tell Chihiro like exactly what he's told him over and over, that your body is in no condition to fight right now, so you should wait for me to pull up on you, or you handle what you got to do if there's no guards by. If there's guards, or if there is a situation where you got to go through this and enter a fight, you need to get up out of there, or just wait for me. So Chihiro, we end up going to his situation where he's trying to find Char, and I think he finds her location, and then there's a couple guards here. 2 guards end up walking away, but when they walk away, the 2 guards that are standby at the door, they like, all right, it's almost time, we're gonna have to take a look. And one of them just blitzes right behind Chihiro, and Chihiro is shook, and it pans back over to Shiba, and Shiba ends up getting his own 2 guards that's by his side, and he wonders how he got found so early. But then he ends up coming across some information. He's like, all right, if these 2 guys, if these powerful guards are guarding this little ass shed, then that means it's pretty important, and they got something that's very valuable in there. So he's gonna have to hold off and wait until Chihiro gets here. But he doesn't know that Chihiro in some deep shit him damn self, and we see Char chilling in behind bars, because all the doctors, they end up running over to the situation because there's an intruder over there. So Char's waiting on, it seems like Char's kind of like, okay, I think Chihiro's here to help, to come save me and stuff like that, and we're gonna go over that a little bit more later. But all we see is that these guards are pulling up on Chihiro, they ganging up on him, and the guy that found him actually ended up finding him out because he could smell his blood. So it looks like this guy who has these kind of like Cyclops goggles on or whatever. He doesn't really have good sight, but his sorcery or whatever his abilities are help him with scent. So it seems like he has a really strong sense of smell, but he can also tell that Chihiro's pretty badly beat up right now. And just when Chihiro starts to get his foot in, or when he says that Chihiro's badly damaged, some random dude pulls up on a dumpling and turns into a normal ass person, shapeshifts, and Chihiro's forced to use Kuro on his enchanted blade and create some distance between him and them. And then another guy pulls up with some weird ass fucking boxing glove with some spirals or some shit. I don't even know what this is for real, because we ain't get no name on none of this stuff. But he pulls up too, and Chihiro ends up blocking the sword. And when I saw him block this attack and the struggle that he had on his face, like, I just knew that this wasn't something that Chihiro was going to be able to do, at least not by himself in any way, shape, or form at this moment in time. But they all recognize that he's pretty beat up because he ended up fighting Soujou a few chapters back. So they know that he's pretty beat up right now. He's not going to be able to fight. So Chihiro takes this time. He's like, all right, I got to get out of here. I got to regroup. I got to get a plan together in order for me to be able to pull this off. So he does that, and everybody's like, all right, he's weak. Chihiro's not strong enough. This guy is not strong enough. He doesn't have the strength to kill a sorcerer or even a low-level guard at this point, even with his sword. So they end up just waiting for him, and he's talking to himself. He's thinking to himself of what could he do even if he was in perfect condition. Could he save anybody? Could he help Char? Could he really be of use in this situation? He's just going hard on himself and really looking down on himself and what it is that he's capable of at this point in time, even with the enchanted blades. And that brings him to think about his father, and when he was a kid before the time skip, when he asked his dad that he couldn't, or tells his dad that he could never really be like him, and his dad tells him, he's like, look, you're not really like me, you're more like your mother. I'm assuming we're gonna learn more about his mom later on, which is pretty cool that he got this mom line dropped in here in this chapter. But he's more like his mom. He's more calm, logical, and more serious than his dad is, because we know his dad is goofy as hell and has been since chapter 1. But he knows that as long as he keeps on walking down a different path, that he's gonna be okay. He doesn't need to be just like his dad. He needs to be Rokuhira Chihiro, which if he wasn't Rokuhira Chihiro, he would have no meaning whatsoever. And I think that was really good words to give to Chihiro back then, because that's what shapes a man later on, especially without his father. That's something that's really going to push him going forward. And then Chihiro ends up coming up with his own little movements that's unique to him, and to create his own unique form. And he does that in this chapter. It fast forwards it, which is panel right here from his young self to his current self right here. I thought this was mad clean, and he's having this dialogue with himself. And just as that, all the doctors and everybody, they go back to where Char is, and they tell the guards that's there, they're like, yo, what happened to the intruder? And the guards are like, nah, he ran away. And then you can see the disappointment on Char's face. She feels like she got abandoned, and I felt for her. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely felt for her, man, because she visibly looks drained. And when she had all that hope in her eyes, when she heard that somebody was here, that there was intruders, when she hears that they ran away, all that hope is gone. And then you have the doctors here, and they say that there's no hope for her. So it's tough, man. It's tough seeing her like that. And then they're just wondering why he ran off like that. But then we end up getting some information given back to us again about Enten. So we end up getting reminded what the abilities are of Chihiro's enchanted blade. And we know that Kuro is for long shots, Aka is absorption, and Nishiki, which basically cloaks himself in the, gives him a little cloak of the spirit energy that comes from the blade, and he's able to increase his power. And he ends up apologizing to Char, but he ends up using his own unique form of the sword. Even though the sword has its own Enten abilities, we know that because of what we learned last chapter and early on this chapter, that the sword shapes into whoever the user is. And because of Chihiro's father's words, Chihiro is able to pull out his own unique version of Kuro Chigiri, which cuts off perfectly with this beautiful ass art at the end of this chapter, man. So looks like we're gonna get some locked in fight with Chihiro next chapter. Man's going crazy, you feel me? He leveled up. And even though I think this probably won't go the best because his body still isn't in no condition to fight, I feel like at the very least, maybe Shiba in his fight will be able to handle that on his own, and then he'll be able to come and help Chihiro, which is what I hope will happen. Maybe Chihiro does most of the work and Shiba comes when Chihiro's out of energy, out of spirit energy, and can't fight no more, so he does that, at least until Chihiro doesn't have to expend everything that he has left, because he's gonna want to save some of that for later on when they end up fighting Soujou again. So yeah, man, W Kagurabachi chapter 14. And yeah, the first of many on the channel. I definitely am enjoying this series, and I want to add some more mangas in the future, but definitely I feel like Kagurabachi is a good series so far. It's doing really well. I feel like we got introduced to a really good villain, and I think the story is pacing really well. I think the writing is really solid, and I think we're gonna have a good time with this, man. I'm gonna have a good time doing these chapter reviews and some reactions and stuff like that. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about it in the comment section below. It's been your boy Av. Welcome to the block, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.